Hello students, in today's class we will learn the language of chemistry. In the language of chemistry, we are going to see what is a chemical equation, the definitions, examples with one, two reactants and how to balance the equation. We are going to see the heat and trial method today. We shall go to the video class now. Chemical equation. So what is chemical equation? The chemical equation is the symbolic representation of a chemical reaction using the symbols and formula of the substance involved in the reaction. So, any chemical reactions that we are representing in terms of symbols and formulas. In lower classes, we would have learnt about word equation. There is a simplified formula or form to represent an equation. Here an example we are giving: carbon react with oxygen in the presence of heat to form carbon dioxide. So what is the chemical equation here? Instead of this word, we are going to use the symbols and formulas. See, C plus O2 gives CO2. Here above the arrow mark, we are representing a small triangle. This means that heating is occur during the reaction. So what are the steps involved in writing a chemical reaction? So while writing the chemical reaction, we have to see that the symbols and formula of the reactant should be on left hand side. So on left to this arrow mark, what we are writing is called as a reactant. On right to this arrow mark, what we are writing is called as the product. So here we are writing the symbols of the reactant. See, this examples we have only symbols, and we also have a formulas. And if we have a more than one reactant or more than one product, that should be represented by means of this plus sign. So plus sign between the reactants and products is important to differentiate. And also to differentiate the reactants and products, we have to write this arrow facing towards the right side at the center. So arrow sign divides the reactants and products. And the reactants and products in the molecular form. So what is a molecular form? Molecular form here refers one molecule. How many number of the compound have been present? One molecule or two molecule. To understand, I have given example here. 2 sodium atom plus 2 water molecule. So 2 is the number of molecule. 2 molecule of hydrogen. 2 molecule of compound sodium hydroxide. So the reactants and products in the molecular form. The next one is double arrow represent reversible reaction. Some reactions we have to show double arrow. What is this double arrow represent? Double arrow represent is a forward and backward reaction. So from the reactant we are getting the product. From the product on changing the conditions we will get the reactant back. And this is the example for this. Nitrogen plus hydrogen gives ammonia. On changing the conditions, ammonia can be taken back as nitrogen and hydrogen. Also, triangle sign. This is the sign for heating. So this sign indicates heat is absorbed. Either heat is absorbed or released. You have to use this triangle sign. And specific conditions like a temperature, pressure, catalyst, which are using all written above or below the arrow. So you can see this example above the below. So temperature or pressure, how much temperature we are maintaining during this reaction, and what is the pressure we are using for this reactions to occur. And if you are using any catalyst, that also should be mentioned either above or below this arrow mark. Okay. So these chemical reactions may involve all these aspects. What are they? So chemical reactions may occur either with a one reactant and two or more products. Here I given a two example. Calcium carbonate. So it is given in the left hand side. This is a reactant and we have only one reactant. And in the product side, it undergoes it reacts and to produces calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So this calcium oxide is the one product and carbon dioxide is the another product. So two product we got, two or more product. So one reactants may give three products also. Here lead nitrate PbNO3 twice is lead nitrate. Is only one reactant on left hand side, reacts to produce three products. So lead oxide PbO, nitrogen dioxide NO2 and oxygen. So this is one type. Two reactants and one products. So on reactants we have two, that is ammonia and hydrogen chloride, and product we have only one product, that is ammonium chloride. So here next one is two reactants and two products. Here we go the example. Silver nitrate AgNO3 plus sodium chloride react to form silver chloride plus sodium nitrate. In left hand side we have two reactants and right hand side we have two products. And another one is two reactants and three or more products. So already we have seen one reactants, three products, two or more products. Here two reactant, three or more products. In this first case we have a copper plus sulfuric acid H2SO4 and the product is copper sulfate, water and sulfur dioxide. So two reactants on left hand side and three products on right side. And the next one is KMnO4 potassium permanganate and hydrochloric acid. So two reactants and on the products we have four products. One is hydrochloric acid, manganese chloride, water and chlorine. So you can see different types. Okay. And an equation must be balanced in order to comply with the law of conservation of matter, which states that matter is neither created nor destroyed. So any equations when you are writing, but you obey the law of conservation of matter. So matter is neither be created nor be destroyed is all we know. So whatever the reactant we have, the same number of molecules should be obtained at the product side, or the reactant molecules and the product molecule should be equal. That we should see in the coming slides. Before that, we learn the method of balancing the equation. So generally we are having two methods. One is a hit and trial method and partial equation method. Partial equation method we don't have in our syllabus. We learn only the hit and trial method. And remember that a balanced equation need not represent the real reaction. It may vary. How? Let's see that. Before that, we'll learn how to balance by hit and trial method. So the very first method or very first step to do this, we have to count the frequency of an element occur on either side. So frequency of an element means the elements are coming how many times, either in the reactant side as well as in the product side. Here we have a first example. Copper plus sulfuric acid gives copper sulfate plus sulfur dioxide plus water. You can see this. I have written the element copper, hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen. So copper here on the left hand side comes only one times. Only one atom of copper is present. On right side it is one atom. Hydrogen left side two atom and right side also two atom. Sulfur left side one atom and right side here one plus here one, two atoms are present. Oxygen here on left side four atom, on right side it is seven atoms present. So count the frequency of an element occur on either side. That is the first way, first step to do balancing. Second step, the element with the least frequency is balanced first. So which element is coming at least and not balanced should be balanced first. Then When two or more elements have the same frequencies, the metallic element is balanced first. Here for example, we have a hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen, copper. Suppose all these elements have a same number of atoms. In that cases, we have to balance the metallic element. The metallic element in this case is copper. So copper should be balanced if it not balanced. Okay. In the first example, we'll see that copper is already balanced. Hydrogen is also balanced. And sulfur and oxygen has to balance. Out of these two, sulfur having less number of atoms. Okay, so in this example, we'll see this whether sulfur is balanced or not. On right side, 2 sulfur is present and left only 1. So to increase the sulfur to 2 in the left hand side. So to increase the number of sulfur atom, I have put prefix 2 for this sulfuric acid. So sulfur count is become 2 now. But the hydrogen count increased 4 hydrogen atom now. So what I should do to increase the hydrogen atom on right side, I have to put here 2. So hydrogen atoms also become 4 now. Oxygen also are balanced. So after balancing, the correct formula is Cu plus 2H2SO4 gives CuSO4 plus SO2 plus 2H2O. So the first case, this formula or this chemical reaction is known to be as a skeletal equation. Skeletal equation is nothing but the unbalanced equation, and this at the end I have written no, this is now called as a complete balanced equation. So whenever you are writing any chemical equation, it should be balanced correctly. Let's see another example. Ammonium chloride plus calcium hydroxide gives calcium chloride plus ammonia plus water. So I will list out the elements which are present in this equation: nitrogen, hydrogen, chlorine, calcium, oxygen. In this, nitrogen, calcium already balanced, each having 1, and further we have oxygen, chlorine, hydrogen. So in this, chlorine oxygen should be balanced first and hydrogen should be balanced at last because it contains of more number of atoms. So after balancing, we got this formula: 2 molecules of ammonium chloride plus 1 molecule of calcium hydroxide gives 1 molecule of calcium chloride plus 2 molecule of ammonia plus 2 molecule of water. So this is how we are supposed to balance these equations. Okay, then information conveyed by a balanced chemical equation. Okay, I have a balanced equation, chemical equations I have made. So what information I can get from this equation? So generally the above equation, for example, sodium hydroxide plus sulfuric acid gives sodium sulfate plus water. This equation tells us what it tells us: actual result of the chemical changes. So when these two reactant, sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid, reacts, it produces sodium sulfate and it also liberates water. So the liberation of water and sodium sulfate is the actual product and the actual chemical reaction. So this actual result can be obtained, can be observed in this equation. Also, reactant involved and product formed. In this, the reactant is these two. I mean, sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid is the reactant, and the product is sodium sulfate and water are the product. So the reactant and product can be identified in the equation. Then, the number of molecules of each substance is taking part and formed. So number of molecules means how many molecules, number of molecules. 1 molecule of sodium hydroxide reacts with 1 molecule of sulfuric acid to form 1 molecule of sodium sulfate plus 2 molecule of water have been obtained. Okay, and also the chemical composition of the molecules, that is 1 molecule of sodium hydroxide, we can obtain, what we can see, the chemical composition. What is the chemical composition here refers? Here 1 molecule of sodium hydroxide means what are the chemicals or what are the elements are present in this: 1 atom of sodium, 1 atom of oxygen, one atom of hydrogen are present. Similarly here in the product sodium sulfate, 2 atom of sodium, 1 atom of sulfur, 4 atom of oxygen are present. And also in this water molecule 2 times 4 hydrogen atoms and 2 oxygen atoms are present. So the total number of chemical composition can be identified. The next one is the molecular mass. So again I have written this equation by showing the relative molecular mass. So sodium molecular mass is 23, oxygen 16, hydrogen 1. So 2 molecule of sodium hydroxide. So 2 I have put outside the bracket. So it multiples of this total value. Similarly, hydrogen sulfide, sulfuric acid. Hydrogen is 2, sulfur is 32. Each hydrogen is 1, so 1 into 2, 2. Sulfur is 32, oxygen is each 16, 16 into 4, 64. This is on the reactant side. So totally 2 into the total value will come 80. And the sulfuric acid is 98. 80 plus 98, 178 in the reactant side. Similarly, on finding this mass value, we will get 117 on the product side. That is the molecular mass. So this proves the law of conservation of mass. So what is the law of conservation of mass which was studied in the previous? That is the reactants and products must be equal. So here we are getting the reactants is 178 grams and the product is 178 grams. So both have been comes to equal value. So this can be seen after the equations to be balanced. So once the equation is balanced, we can find out the reactants and products are equal. Got it? Next. So in this, we'll have an equation. See, the equation is calcium carbonate plus hydrochloric acid gives calcium chloride plus water plus carbon dioxide. So whenever you are balancing equation, after balancing equation, okay, for doing a numerical problems, you must write like this: volume and mass. So volume is specifically is given for gaseous substances, is applicable for the gaseous substances. Okay, here I have written this volume. CaCO3 only one calcium carbonate, so one volume of calcium carbonate. Here two volume of HCl are given, so two volume, 2 HCl is nothing but 2 volume of HCl gives on react, these two reacts to form 1 volume of calcium chloride, 1 volume of water and 1 volume of carbon dioxide. In terms of mass, I have given 100 grams. This calcium carbonate is 100 grams. How we got this 100 grams? This is nothing but the mass of each elements. Sum of the mass of each elements of the compound. Calcium mass plus carbon mass plus oxygen mass together given as 100. Similarly, hydrogen mass, chlorine mass are put together given as 73. Similarly, on the product sides also I have given the masses. I'll teach you how to find the masses in a separate video. Okay, here this is the reactants are given in the mass, this is the product and given in the mass. So 100 grams of calcium carbonate reacts with 73 grams of hydrogen chloride to form 111 grams of calcium chloride. Okay, so in the first one, see, 100 grams of calcium carbonate on treatment with 73 gram of HCl will produce 22.4 liter of carbon dioxide at STP. You can find difference here. So already I have given a carbon dioxide is 44 grams. This is in terms of grams. Okay, but here I have written will produce 22.4 liter of carbon dioxide. So what is this 22.4 liter? 22.4 liter refers here volume, which means that one volume is equal to 22.4 liter. Keep in mind, one volume is equal to 22.4 liter. It is applicable for all the gases. Okay, so 100 grams of calcium carbonate reacts with 73 grams of hydrogen chloride, reacts to produce one volume, nothing but 22.4 liter of 22.4 liter of carbon dioxide. At STP, what is STP here? STP is nothing but standard temperature and pressure. What is that? 20.4 liter of every gases, not only for carbon dioxide, every gases at STP means 760 mm of pressure. The P refers here 760 mm of pressure, or simply we can say yes 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay, and temperature is 0 degree Celsius. That is the standard temperature. Weighing the same as its molecular mass, which means any gases 20.4 liter will be equal to the mass. How much? Here 20.4 liter of hydrogen at STP weigh 2 grams. 20.4 liter of ammonia at STP weigh 17 grams. How we got this 2 grams? Atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. 1 molecule of hydrogen means 2 hydrogen are present. So 2 into 1, 2 grams. Ammonia NH3, NH3. So nitrogen mass plus hydrogen. Nitrogen is 14, hydrogen is 3. 3 hydrogen is there. 14 plus 3, 17. So 1 molecule of ammonia gives 17 grams, which is nothing but this 17 grams is equal to 1 volume. So 1 volume means already I told 22.4 liter. It is applicable for carbon dioxide also. So carbon plus oxygen. Oxygen is 16, 2 oxygen is 32 and carbon is 12. So totally 44. So 44 means 1 molecule, 1 volume. This 1 volume is nothing but 20.4 liter. Got it? Okay. But while writing this kind of chemical equation, we have some limitations. So what are the limitations? Let's see that. A chemical equation does not tell us what are they. The physical state of the reactants and the product. We cannot identify whether the state of the substance, either it is a solid or liquid or gas, because simply by writing in the paper we cannot say exactly whether it is solid or obtained in solid states or gaseous states or liquid states. So to avoid this, what we are doing, after balancing the equations, we have to write in the brackets. Okay, for example, carbon dioxide is a gas. So after this, in brackets, we have to write small g. Water is a liquid, for example, in the bracket, we'll write a liquid. Or any aqueous substance we are taking, AQ we should write. Then, second limitation, the time taken for the completion of the reaction. So, generally, if a reaction takes place for 12 minutes or 15 minutes, we cannot say the time in by seeing the equation. So, that is the limitation. The time taken for the completion of the reactions cannot be tell by seeing the equation. Third one, whether heat is given out or absorbed during the reaction. So at the particular time during the reaction, either the heat is giving out or absorbing is not to be identified by simply looking the equation. Then the respective concentration of the reactants and the products. So we are adding HCl, either how much is concentrated it is. Okay, all these things cannot be seen in this equation. The rate at which the reaction proceeds, the speed of the reaction, how much speed the reaction is, the rate of the reaction, or how much slow the reaction is. So the rate of the reactions cannot be identified. Whether the reaction is reversible or irreversible. So we cannot see the reaction. So how can identify? By putting that arrow mark, opposite sides arrow mark only we can see this, the reaction is reversible or irreversible. One way arrow mark, irreversible. Two way arrow mark, we can say it is irreversible. Only by means of the arrow mark only we can see. Otherwise simply we cannot identify whether the reaction is reversible or irreversible. And also whether the reaction is complete or it is not completed. It is not possible to say that by looking this balancing equation whether the equation is completed or not completed. There may happen to have any byproduct also. So we cannot say this. Okay. So in the next video we'll see about the further topics. Thank you.